Good evening, folks. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight to hear about BetterBus Onondaga, to hear more about it, and to give us your feedback. I am Bren Dice. I am the VP of Public Affairs and Planning at Centro. And tonight I also have with me our board chair, Nick Lano. He's in the back corner. I have a board member, Julius Lawrence. I was gonna flip your name around, sorry about that. And I also have our CEO here tonight, Chris Tuff. I also have a bunch of Centro folks. So if you see anybody with a Centro logo on their shirt, they're with us. You can ask them questions, and thank you guys so much for being here tonight. So tonight's topic is our BetterBus Onondaga system redesign. We've been working on this for more than a year and a half, and so wanted to give you a little bit of information on that system redesign. The timeline starts about 2023. We actually started working with SMTC, the Syracuse Metropolitan Transportation Council, to explore tomorrow's transit, right? That's what we were calling it. And we went out for about a year and talked to a bunch of people to see what y'all wanted for your transit system. So we talked to actually about 1,000 people in that outreach. Then in 2024, we realized that we really needed to look at our system as a whole and make it make more sense for the public, streamline some routes, and just give more efficient and better service to this community. So we hired a consultant, and our consultant team, along with our Centro team, went out and we reviewed travel patterns, customer needs, and ridership. As well, we came up with a plan, and we talked to the public and said, what do you think? So again, the first outreach was, what do you want to see? The second outreach was, here's our plan, what do you think? And so we got a bunch of feedback at that point as well. Several hundred comments in each of those rounds of public outreach. We did 3 rounds of public outreach. And every time we went out to the public, the idea was that we went back to the drawing board and made some changes based on what y'all wanted to see. And then we brought it back out to say, okay, is this it, right? So here we are at the public hearing. Our plan is that this is our final plan, right? And I'll show you the map and give you some details in just a second. But this is also our public hearing. So this is another opportunity for you all to give us feedback and tell us if there's something that we're missing, or if there's something we're doing really well, you're really excited about. So all of those public feedback, public comments are accepted and happening tonight. So, again, the goals of the system redesign are really about simplifying our route network. One of the things we heard from the public, from y'all, was that it was complicated, that our routes are complicated, that the schedules are complicated, that sometimes it's hard to understand. And that's because sometimes we have deviations, and you guys know probably better than most that the route might go one direction at some time of the day and then head another direction at a different time of the day. So we really tried to streamline, simplify our route network and make it much easier for people to understand. We also know that our BRT, our bus rapid transit, is coming in 2028. That's those couple of lines we've got in the county that are gonna be 15-minute frequency and really increasing the ability for people to travel on those routes. Those are our most popular routes, and we knew that we needed to have a system for the whole county that worked really well with those BRT routes. So we also wanted to increase frequency along high demand corridors. One of the other things that we heard from the public was that we asked, where do you want to go? And overwhelmingly, the answer was places that we already go. So that's actually good news. That means we're going in the places where you want us to be going, but maybe you want us to be going there more often. So we're working, this plan is increasing frequency along those high demand corridors. We also know that travel patterns have changed. People don't work the same that they did before. You might work at home. It used to be, back in the day, we would have suburban workers who were working in the downtown core. And now we're seeing the opposite of that. We're actually seeing downtown workers who need to get out to the suburbs to go to work and then come home. So it's a reverse commute than we're used to seeing, just these new traffic patterns, travel patterns that we needed to address. And we also wanted to optimize local service, introduce some new transit modes, which I'll get into in a little bit, and utilize our public resources best. So again, what did we do with our consultants? We looked at existing conditions assessments. We looked at infrequent service, where there's deviations, how do we make it make more sense? We studied the market and analyzed. We did this all with our planning consultants, and we have 2 planning consultants that work with us, Arcadis and Foursquare, on this project. We looked at travel patterns. For future growth projections, we're having constant conversations with the municipalities and the city about where growth is projected to be happening, and then where are there gaps in our service. And again, just to touch on the public outreach, we did 3 phases for this system redesign with over 1,000 people, and then that earlier one with SMTC, we hit 1,000 people, over 1,000 people on that one as well. So we tried to talk to as many people as possible. So here's the network. Hopefully you saw and got a chance to talk to us about the network already. You can also find this network really easily on centro.org/BetterBus Onondaga. There's a really cool tool that you can play with what the system looks like now versus what it's going to look like in 2027. And so here we are looking at the plan as a whole. We listened to feedback and made changes along the way to get to this draft. So again, one of the things people told us is that there's too many stops, that the bus stops in some areas, James Street, for example, every block, just about. And so it's slowing everybody down. So could we streamline our routes and make it more efficient? If we have 3 stops on 3 blocks and we took one of them out, we would stop one less time, right? We heard that healthcare workers, so down here in this is the SY40, we heard healthcare workers wanted to hit some of those locations all on the same route, right? We had originally planned for those to be a couple different routes because we didn't realize that was the same customer. But then we got feedback that Brighton Towers, Iroquois Nursing Home, and Loretto, those often have all the same nurses' aides and helpers that are going to those locations, maybe all on the same day. So we needed to fix that one and put all those folks on the same route so that they didn't have to go back into the hub. We also heard you say that not everybody wants to go to the hub. Sometimes you want to connect in the northeast to the northwest, and how do you make that connection without coming all the way down into the hub and then going back out? So we did make a couple of routes here that we are proposing don't go into the hub at all, and we tried to make additional connections throughout the system to still give you the ability to move throughout the system easily, but not always have to go down all the way down to the hub to do it. One of the biggest comments I will tell you between last fall and now was we had originally planned in our last draft that this blue line, the fixed route, would end here at Wegmans. That's the manliest route. And we had a ton of people actually reach out and say, no, we don't want you to end at Wegmans. We need to get to Town Center. So we said, okay, we heard you. So we are now extending this route out to Town Center. And I didn't explain these purple blobs. So these purple shapes here are what we're calling on-demand service. You may have heard we're doing that in Rome, and we've been doing it in Rome for about 2 years. It's going really well. So the way this is going to work here is if you are in this zone, or this zone, there's a period circle move zone, there's a Henry Clay move zone, and then there's the Fayetteville Manlius move zone. If you are in any one of these zones and you want to travel within the zone, you can do it with an app or by calling us instead of having a fixed route. So the big buses will just be on these blue lines, but the smaller buses will be able to navigate at your own schedule. So that's actually a really cool feature. You can schedule the bus 15 minutes from now, or you can schedule it 2 weeks from now. and you're going to be sharing it with other people. It's kind of Uber bus, right? It's not going to come to your door. It's not going to pull in your driveway. It's going to come to your corner and hopefully pick you up with other folks and transport you where you need to go. But if you're in here and you want to get into downtown or the Northwest or wherever else in the system you want to get to, you can do that by connecting here at Town Center or at Wegmans and get on the big bus and head on in. The same thing is going to happen in the Carrier Circle move zone and in the Henry Clay move zone. And those are where we're starting the move zones. They're areas that just don't have a lot of origins and destinations. You know, that's where it works best for us to work, when there are both housing and destinations, right? There's your doctor's office and your stores and your parks and whatnot. And so, I mean, if you think about the Carrier Circle area, there's not a lot of houses up there. There's hotels, there's some workforce places, but how can we make that service work a little bit better? So that's how we're changing those areas. So I should have explained these little red dotted lines are where we are proposing to remove service. The blue lines are where we are planning the service. And all the yellow sections, those are completely new service areas that we are adding in to make it make the most sense. So let me look at my notes, because I've just been talking and not looking at my notes at all. Oh, another change that we made because of your feedback was the Camillus area. So we had planned to stop and not go into the village of Camillus because there weren't a lot of riders, but we got on some buses and talked to some folks, and they said, no, we need to get into the village for work, right? So, okay, so if we go into the village, we've changed our plan, we're now going into the village, but we're only gonna do it in the morning and in the afternoon so that those commuters can still make it into the village and have the ride that they need. So we really tried to listen to the public and hear what you had to say, go back to the drawing board and make changes, and then here's what we've got so far. In addition, another change that we're making that's new, one of the comments we got was about the Northwest up there near Baldwinsville. Folks wanted to get on 31. We know there's a lot happening on 31, and there was no connection to get up there from the Baldwinsville area. So now we're going to do a midday run so that folks can get to all those locations along Route 31. We're excited about that, and that was one of the things that people really asked for. So, again, just to go over the benefits of the plan, we are increasing frequency on major routes. We are working on 30 minutes or less between trips for 42% of our current riders. We know some of the trips right now are 60 minutes, some a little bit longer than 60 minutes. We tried to reduce that down as much as possible to give people more options of how often they could ride, right? We also reduced and reworked some low-performing routes. So I'll go back a slide to the Liverpool, Henry Clay area. You can see this area here that has the existing route there. That route wasn't as popular and didn't have as many riders. So we actually took 3 routes up in that area and we made them into 1 or 2 routes, which streamlined the service, still hits where people want to go, we think, and that was our goal, again, to streamline the service. We're also increasing service spans in some neighborhoods. I know on the north side, there's some folks that are right now done with service at 6 p.m. and don't have service on weekends, and we're working to expand some of that so that we give, again, people more options. And, I touched on that one already, improved weekend service in some areas. And then those move zones, and I want to emphasize that those move zones, those little buses that you can call on an app, it's not the whole system, it's just those 3 areas to start with that we think are a good start to bringing folks into the rest of the system. So, more about this move on-demand service. This is what the buses look like. They're actually really cool. They're available in those specific zones, and we're planning that service from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Customers can reserve the rides through a mobile app. Again, that's corner-to-corner service, and it gives you more flexibility and more options because you don't have to be bound to that fixed route schedule. In Rome, these are our prices, and this is our proposed fare for here. If you're connecting into the line service at specific points, so you're gonna take that from Wegmans or from Shop City into the rest of the system, it's $1 charge. We wanted to keep that charge $1. But if you're bebopping around your area and you're not using the line service, it's a $4 charge. Still a lot cheaper than Uber or Lyft. And again, here's the 3 move zones. I don't need to dwell on this because I've talked about it, but there are our 3 proposed move zones. Oh, here's another one. Closer up. And then this slide just shows you how to use it. It's super easy. If you've used Uber or Lyft, it's really very much the same system. You get on the app, you tell them who you are, you can see the bus, it tells you when it's coming, and then you get on. If you don't have a smartphone or you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can call us and we can do it for you. So, I've talked a lot about the plan. Again, I want to go over the proposed outcomes that we have for this plan. 13 major routes will operate with increased frequencies. We'll have an 18% increase in jobs served and a 10% increase in population served, and also an increase in frequency for those access to jobs and population served. And then we're looking for, which we accomplished in this plan, new or improved connections to major employers. So that's another thing we heard. I need to get to work. How do I get there? So we're improving connections to places like Amazon, Destiny USA, Walmart, Shop City, OCC. So we really tried to work on those popular destinations as well. So, what now? Our next steps is to be here this evening, to hear your feedback and take notes on it. We will review the public comments with our consultants, and then we will amend the plan where it's appropriate based on feedback. So this is not the end-all, be-all. We think it's pretty close to what we want to do, but we're looking for this feedback, and then we'll submit it to the Central Board. The Central Board does have to vote on it, and we are hoping that the system redesign will launch in 2027. So I know that sounds like far away. It'll be a little over a year from now, so June or July of 2027. When we want to launch this service, we want to do a couple things. First of all, there's a ton of work that has to be done behind the scenes to get the scheduling and the buses ready and all of the apps and website and everything up for the new system. So it's some work. But also we want to give you guys enough time to understand the system. We'll continue to go out and talk to folks about it so that it's not a surprise when these changes come out. In fact, the week before the changes come out, we will be out on the buses, at the hub, at your bus stops, talking to you and making sure you know that it's coming. The week that the change is going to place, we will also be out making sure we're all ready for these changes. And it's going to be smooth sailing, hopefully, because we talked enough in advance about it so that we are ready for the changes. We'll continue to inform the public. So, on to the public hearing. Here's the fun part, I think, where we get to hear what you have to say. The point of a public hearing is for us to listen. So we don't want to interrupt you. We want to give you the time to give us feedback. Any feedback is welcome. And we have a big room tonight. We have a big list. So we're going to have a 3-minute maximum. Lynette is going to be awesome about keeping us on time so that you can talk to us for 3 minutes and give us your feedback. We're going to listen. We're going to take notes. And then we're going to continue to accept feedback through the 30th. So another week, we're going to accept feedback. Then you can also talk to us. If you haven't talked to us already, you can obviously talk to us tonight. You can go to our website at centro.org. You can email us at cnyrta, that's actually our official name, at centro.org. You can call or fax us. I don't know that anybody faxes us anymore, but you can if you want to. You can mail us a letter. You can get on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X. We are Go Centro Bus. And so lots of ways to tell us your feedback, of course, tonight and then the next week. Then we're going to go back to the consultants. We're going to sit down and we're going to go through them and figure out if there are things that we can address before we go to the board for our final plan. That's the plan. So, Lynette, I think you have some more instructions for us.
She did a great job, didn't she? Thank you, Bren. Very nice overview. We're very excited about it. So as Bren stated, the purpose of the hearing is really to listen to your comments regarding our proposed BetterBus Onondaga system redesign. And we want to ensure that everyone who registered here tonight has an opportunity to speak. However, to do that fairly, we will use the following guidelines. I'll call speakers up in the order of registration. When called, I'm going to ask that you please state your name for the record. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. We have over 20 people that have listed they'd like to speak. That's going to take us an hour, which is going to get us to the end. So at the 30-second remaining mark, I'm going to raise my hand. That indicates that you need to wrap up your statement. So please conclude that and yield the microphone promptly to the next speaker. Public hearings are recorded for our purposes. We are required. The news media is here. They have also been invited to attend. So whatever they pick up, yes, will be on the media.
Hello. So my name is Makai Jackson, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I take the 254 Midland Valley Drive route to and from work. I saw I was going to get cut, and that would be difficult for me because me and my mom both rely on that bus to get to and from work. And if that route gets cut, we will have to walk a half a mile to South Ave and South Salina to catch the bus. Because that is it's a high crime area, and those areas are not really safe to walk, during any time of the day. So I was wondering if, you guys can figure something out, maybe make it so it can actually run more frequently, more frequently on a Sunday, because the buses don't run on Sundays, and we have to walk all the way to South Salina Street to catch the bus. So I was thinking, I'm just gonna say, have you guys looked into it about it, and has anybody reached out? No.
Thank you, Makai.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So just to reiterate, public hearings, we do not respond. We're taking your comments on public record. We will go back and address them afterwards. So tonight is not us responding to you. It's us listening to you and taking that information back to work on with our service plans and development teams. All right, our next speaker, and I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name, Jessica Stockin.
Hello, my name is Jessica Stockham. I take the 86 route. I believe that one was one of the ones that was cut also. It's just, because noticing while we are on the route that doesn't have many people all the time. The people who do take the bus every day. Both morning and evening, those people take all the time and they rely on that bus to get to work. There's no other route if it goes anywhere near where we are. And it's kind of, if we have the the move bus, everybody's going to be calling it every single day at the same, we're going to create an artificial route. So what's the point of getting rid of the route if they're just going to create an artificial route by everybody calling the move bus and then just going around and say, take what it is? It's just kind of you take into account how many people are on the bus to not actually how reliably they ride. It's all the same people every same day. Like, I'm on there every weekday, twice a day. Like, it's just kind of, I don't know, just take into account the fact that, like, sure, there's not that money of us, but it does take place sometimes, but the people who do ride all the time. And those people for life. It's not like they're using no other way. If you take an Uber, it's going to be like $50. And I'm not exaggerating. It's literally like $47 to get from Pine House to the top area. So, I mean, you can try and do the other move thing, but it's just going to be, everybody in the entire route is just going to hit. So, yes, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much, Jessica. John Tremonte.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Well, I'm here on behalf of my son, Michael Fiermonti. He worked for Arkham Onondaga, he has special needs, and he gets up real early in the morning, and he catches the Kushtik bus to the house, then the house can Henry Clay. And that's his routine every day, and he figures out routine out. And I'm a little worried in case he has to go to the new routine, it's going to mess everything up. And that's my concern and issue about the new routes. I think this route is a lot easier for him. He understands what he's doing and where he goes. That's kind of my two cents per. And also, how many people does that bus go, the move bus?
12.
So, okay. Well, thank you, everybody. That was a quick one.
Thank you, John.
You.
Next up, we have Roshan Kershaw. That was correct, so thank you so much. My name is Roshan Kershaw, and I am a proud resident of the South Side, so I'm going to be referred to Region 54. In the past 6 months, we had a route change recently where we were running towards Price Red, and now we've now changed, and I know it's more efficient. However, being in a food desert, we've now made it a little bit more difficult for Southside residents to get food. I feel that if we are now to remove that route altogether, we are creating a lot more barriers to the poverty that we already have at Southside. One of the issues that I have is the idea that I'm sure that the TED will be now running fork frequently, but that does not prevent the issue of having someone walk from Midland to South Salina. If you've ever had to walk from Midland to South Salina during the winter, which is about 6 months here at Syracuse, it is very difficult. Not only is it dark, but often we have residents who don't own their homes, which means they are not actively shoveling. So from about 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., it's dark. And once you get about 4 p.m. to 9, it's dark. So it's really difficult for us to see this as an opportunity for efficiency. Also typical for the 254 after about 5:20 in the afternoon, we are now not running. So they have to take the South Salina bus. And that's nice, except it is immediately packed at about 6 p.m. So you don't really get the option to sit down after a long day. Hopefully, it running more frequently will solve that issue for people on that route. However, it still does create barriers for us on the 54. Having it not be able to run towards where the new proposed supermarket will now be on the lower side is also another issue. So if you're looking to build on the south side and then we're removing routes to where people are finding more efficiency, we're solving problems, but we're also creating issues for a lot of our residents in that area. So I think that's just something to think about. If we're looking at, Camillus being an option to where it's running earlier during the day and in the afternoons, that would be something that I think would be really accessible for our people, considering, again, like many places, it's one of those things where it's consistently full with the people you see every day. They created a routine and they know that they can get on that bus. Having to walk so far isn't an issue for, able-bodied people, but oftentimes we're talking about people who didn't have the resources to be able-bodied. So we want to be more accessible to our people. Thank you, Liz.
I took the vaccine. I did 10.
It's even plastic. Where are the tables and the faucets there? I think out of that fight on right. They are big size. I can also pull up on a string here whilst they give him. If you go to centro.org/BetterBus Onondaga, you can look at it side by side with what the roofs look like now and then what they're supposed to be. But here's the map to how forward on it. So it's central.org, BetterBus, the bottom. Yes. And then
All right, our next speaker is Kurt Lontier.
I'm Kurt Lontier, and I live on the Court Street bus. But I have a lot of things that I want to talk about, but I'll try to talk fast. I've had a lot of complaints from friends of mine that live in Auburn about why don't they bring back the state fair buses, because they said ever since they stopped them, they don't go to the fair at all anymore. And more times on the weekend for some buses, because some buses don't even run on the weekend. Like the people in Beeville and Cicero, they're out. They don't have any choice. So if they don't have a car, then that's it. Now, the problem with a lot of this is I'm sure it's going to be, in the beginning, difficult to get this smoothed out, but a lot of this stuff is things that they discontinue, like no buses to Harbor Fest anymore. Would they ever think about having buses go to like Green Lakes or Oneida Shores? Or another problem, what about the bus driver shortage? What are the Centro doing to encourage more people to be bus drivers and retain them? Because a lot of times I hear bus drivers apply, get their CDL, and then they don't stay. They leave. So is there something Centro could do to keep them? I mean, I know some bus drivers that became bus drivers that I know personally, and they are happy and they enjoy it, and there are a lot of good bus drivers, but some are getting the license that they're leaving. So what's happening? Because most of what I hear all the time is when they can't do a route, it's because they said bus driver shortage. If they had more bus drivers, they could do more. Now, Centro recently took over Cortland Bus. Are they going to share bus drivers up here if they need them? And same as Auburn. I know some of the Auburn bus drivers actually drove for the fair this year from like Destiny to the fair. So they're pitching in too. I had a bus driver have a suggestion, and he says, well, couldn't they go to outside sources for events like that, like school bus drivers, temporarily, and let them transport people to the fair? It's an idea. I'm hoping this works, but I'm going to be, skeptical in the beginning. But, I mean, hopefully things will improve. But I feel sorry for all the people like the Wetzel Road and these other people that it's affecting, that they rely on the bus to get to work. I had a bad experience with a driver where they made me late to an orientation and I lost the job. And I complained about it, but I never heard anything about whatever happened to that driver. And the driver was late getting to the hub and then stopped on the way to a convenience store for whatever reason. So I don't know. I'm just, I appreciate driving.
I'm going to have to cut you off. The 3 minutes, I can swear you have quite a few.
But there are good bus drivers. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
So I hope they don't think that they are appreciated. People don't say it, but they should say it more often.
Thanks for that. For sure. Our next speaker is Hugh Dowling.
I'm Lydia Q Dowling. I ride the ADL bus. We're 84s. That bus has served my community for a long time, for decades. And in 2023, all of a sudden, the loop that my stop sign was discontinued. There's supposed to be a hearing in 6 months. The hearing is actually about 49 weeks, almost a full year. And as a result of the public outcry, I guess, from that hearing, Centro was stored in the loop. That was 18 months ago. And yet, here you are. It's the key related. Lose. Replacing it with some kind of colobus thing. Looks like it doesn't. It cuts us off from room selection. And I don't know. I've heard the colobus then only works 80% of the time, something like that. I need to get to work 100% is hot, you know. Centro gets millions of dollars in fun, by millions of dollars to run the day-to-day, millions of dollars for the stuff that you're doing to make these chain ups and where you are taking away my stock that was already restored due of an outcry 18 months ago. I don't really know what else to say. I wrote a letter to him, and I guess you've actually posted to social media or something to make sure that my points get in the record. But I can come out, ask my questions, and nobody from Centro will get back to me. Do I understand that to be true? I'm asked.
Our job tonight is to listen.
Oh, best. What is some of these jobs to
So as we stated, we're taking comments through the 30th. After that, we will issue statements and final decisions. There will be communication out to the public. So we're going to take everything said here today, evaluate it, and then make some decision.
I want to talk to somebody specific, then you get a specific answer.
You're welcome to speak to any of the Centro representatives here tonight. You're welcome to do that. And if you have submitted that, we do have it on record. So that I can assure you, if you have sent us a letter, we have that, and that will become part of the public record. Thank you.
Right.
Our next speaker is Peter Parklake.
Block. So, I got that. It is. That's what you're saying. Yes, I with it. This time. I'm a short guy. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Peter Parklake. Santa Clay. Years of the book. I just wanted to say where we are. Is that better? Thank you. Well, this is a team effort. And very safe back. We've got resources in our community near and a little farther. I've got a graduate degree in public administration from New York University. Did some of my course studies at Maxwell School at Lake Spring, Syracuse University. There are people who specialize in urban plan. And so as you're getting the pulse of people tonight, we'll start. Well, we're getting the pulse of people tonight, which is excellent. Approach, I suggest you approach Maxwell School, Syracuse University, and possibly the graduate school and that NYU. I have a time up in this on dedication of both. But, that they specialize in things like excellent transportation and fund. So, some more, refined. I want Syracuse to be one of the best cities and model cities in this country. Okay? Not just in New York, so reach out. Maxwell School, I'm Syracuse in the race. I want to get very easy to you know,
Can you please come?
Okay. I'm going to talk to you.
Next up, we have David Jensen.
My obscure questions have been answered, so pass.
Thank you, David. Philip Print.
Couldn't Spain. Smith. Ethan. Pounds. Sheet.
Good evening. My name is Phil Perrin. I live in the university. I work on James Street. So as you can imagine, I'm really looking forward to us from the train seat. But I work as a disability rights advocate for an open center in Syracuse. And I have a couple questions or statements. One about call bus. The big problem that we're going to face with a lot of these routes is that call bus only works in areas that's within 3/4 of a mile of a fixed bus route and won't go further than that. So you suggest that the alternative is the moves is paying that, but call bus is $2.50 and the moves is $4. So to use an example, for some reason your fixed bus route out to Fayetteville, while I applaud you going further than Ligman's in one area of town center, why did you not make the more obvious choice of going about a half a mile up Burning Street to Northeast Medical Center, the place where I would go up to in Fayetteville, because I frequent on Fayetteville. If someone, I can't use call bus to go where because it's only 3/4 from the fixed bus route. I think it's port time, essentially 5 minutes up the Cardiff Street. But if I took the move from the end of the fixed bus route, it's $4 for a 0.9 mile ride up to then add another $1 got to the fixed bus route after. So that's a $5 additional fee in addition to the $2 going back and forth from the city on the fixed bus route. So I would encourage you to consider going to Northeast Medical. Someone mentions a very large complex in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Next speaker is Agnes McCrae. Agnes, would you like us to bring the microphone over?
Hold on.
See.
Thank you. Hi everyone. My name is Agnes McCrae and I am a human rights advocate and I live in the James Street area, the Eastwood area. And I would just like to say that this year is the 36th anniversary of the idiot. And people fought hard to get accessible transportation with the fixed road bus. And in this plan, we are not considered. There is very many homes on James Street where people where Centro stops now. And those homes that have senior citizens that are very, very active in their communities because they work and they go places too, and they would like to be a part of everybody else, like everybody else, in accordance with the AD. And you, Central, expects all those people in senior housing to walk in or walkers all the way to Shop City to get the bus they need. And how do you gonna ask people to pay $5 extra when they're on a big income. You know, you, you are taking transportation away from those who really need it the most for the working class and for those who don't want the wheelchairs on the bus or want to see such people on the bus. They're not centralizing on specialized transportation. It is supposed to be a public bus, and the public is not being served. You can't leave people with extraordinary differences out of the plan completely. And you need to find a better route where maybe you put one of those buses that you say will come to pick up 20 people in front of some of those senior housing areas that really need it the most. And on Saturdays and Sundays, there is no service as you wait at any bus stop throughout the Jill Street area, and there's no way to get a hold of Centro. And you sit there waiting for a bus, and the bus will say 20 minutes on the app, and it keeps.
Agnes, we're going to have to cut you off there. Your 3 minutes has expired. So thank you very much. Our next speaker is Charles Hudson.
I just did right to me.
Charles Hudson.
I'm right over there. I can see it.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much to Centro for holding this public hearing today. My name is Charles Hudson from the Eastwood area, so I'll be taking the James Street bus if it's 123 or 20 or the different variations, as well as the Dunlap and Taft bus. And just to reiterate what a lot of individuals have said here, there's a lot of areas where if you take out the routes, especially for the senior living, it's not very easy for them to move up to walk 10 minutes to a bus stop or 15 minutes to a Shop City route, especially with the sidewalks and the status of that, especially in the winter time, and with the very lack of the snow removal on the sidewalks and the streets, with the traffic, and a lot of different situations with that as well. So it's going to be very difficult for older individuals, people who have mobility devices or walkers, to make these ends meet, because just going straight to the building makes it easier for them to just walk right to the bus and, go to wherever it needs to be. So maybe for going forward in the future, if there would be move zones at certain senior living places, and maybe altogether, the individuals could pay the fare a certain amount to where they're going, to make it easier for them. And when everything does go out to fruition moving forward, a lot of problems I've had as I work for my mom as a home care worker, is doing the buses. There's a lot of problems with the equipment. So the ramps, we've had a tremendous amount of problems with ramps on the buses. The bus drivers can't get it down, and even when they try to manually do it, it doesn't work. So then they'll say, you can call Centro. They're gonna wait a couple minutes, and then everything will be okay. I can tell you, just 2 weeks ago, we came from the train and the bus was packed, and the driver said, I talked with Centro, somebody's coming right away. You don't have to worry. This was for the 740 line going down, and nobody came. So we had to wait another hour. We didn't end up getting onto the bus until it was time for the 9 o'clock lineup. And that really doesn't make things feasible. Another problem that we had was when we went to get the train earlier in the day, the equipment wasn't working, and thank goodness that the bus driver, he didn't quit on it. He didn't just say, okay, they got the phone call, there's going to be somebody who's coming. He actually took the time to make sure he could get the wrap up so we could get on, because if we didn't get that bus, we missed the train. everything's wrong with the day. And, that's how life is for a lot of individuals. They really rely on Central. So making sure that the equipment is working before the drivers get on the bus and then they move throughout their daily lives to make sure that individuals don't have problems going to and from work or to and from wherever in the community it is that they like to live their best lives, because everybody does deserve that opportunity. And again, thank you very much for holding this.
Thank you, Kelly. Our next speaker, Carlos Gonzalez.
With Charles. Sure. I'm Carlos Gonzalez. I'm based from the university. I take usually 340 bus sign and one taking for being mayor and for such hosting this events. Radios, I study the bus systems, but that you produce a piece of police better to enhance frequency me per lot these things. I'm working to the 340 because I'm putting Onondaga on. Right now, the wait times are much closer than them. That's the place. I have just a very particular specific comment. I get my groceries usually from Dom's grocery store when the German area. Everyone loved to take 340 to do that particularly on my turn, so I don't have to walk through the snow or through, cuts and neighborhoods of those residential areas, but it's difficult to take the bus there right now because the wait time is also some improved with buses. But the stop locations, the other bigger to see that. Right now it's across the street from Nottingham Road, which sounds like a simple crosswalk. The stop. There's no sidewalk there. It's just like a patch of grass, and is one of those 30 limits where drivers regularly go over 20 miles above the speed limit. I just feel like with the route is going to be rerouting with the about working people to the grocery store or pick up on actually linked through that all. It's pretty small. I don't actually begin this and that means I'm out there out just leave what's fucking news, but sorry, this.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Cynthia St. Bernard.
It's 19.
So good afternoon to the CEO and all the staff at Centro. And I'm Cynthia St. Bernard working in National Grid with Monarch. We take the Henry Clay bus 620. The 620 in the morning, 1 to 6 is our bus. And we are very concerned because number one, the color bus hold 12. We getting 19% in the morning, 18 in the afternoon, 22. We getting 17, we getting 13%, we getting 19, we get 14, we getting 13, we getting 13, we get 14, we get 16, we getting 15, and also 21. And if we have to take the color bus, when we leave our home, we have to pay $1 to get to the home. And when we take the Amazon bus to get to where you said the other bus will pick us up, then we have to pay to this bus. And the other bus will going to take us to bring us to National Grid building. It's going to charge us another $1. So actually, we'll be paying bus $6 a day. And if we are working for $16 an hour, then we will be getting $10. So the bus is taking more than almost half of our pay if we working for $16 because we pay $6 a day. And I have to speak on the behalf of rescue mission workers too because they take the Henry Clay bus. So we desperately need that 620 186 bus in the morning because that bus go up to Nasdaq apartment and it go down and it make all the routes. And the routes what they make all to the train, all to the different parts up there, we do not get much people going this area. So then you want to cut the cost, then you could cut the bus short to Buckley Road to the gas station so he could make that rounds and come back. But if you gotta take this Henry Clay bus from us now, we would have a huge problem to take these 2-3 buses from our home to the hub, from to the hub to Amazon, from Amazon over to Henry Clay. So we would be really disappointed and we desperately need it. And besides the rescue mission, we have a young man right here in this ring, he works in the first building hotel. We also have people a little after before sun. So we have a lot of company down this area and different workers, sometimes different times. Sometimes we get the bus full, sometimes we get stand up. So I am grateful and thanking and asking you, please, with all my respect, that we really desperately need 186 bus. My respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Wendell Van Apst.
I'm not amazed. Thanks.
Good afternoon. I'm Wendell Van Apps. Excellent points made this afternoon. I take the Henry Clay bus in the morning. 2 days from now, on 25th, I'll be celebrating 21 years at my job, and it's been relying on Central services for that to happen. But I wasn't up here. I didn't want to be here. What came to mind was I was thinking about the next guy and the next gal who might start tomorrow, who might start this week, at working along one of these small businesses along that way, along Kinsey Boulevard. I was thinking about them and, the opportunities that they've had. Like I've had, I've been fortunate to have a good job there. I was thinking about the next person that, to have the route eliminated would deny the next person an opportunity to experience what I've experienced. So if it can be limited, adjusted, altered in any way, shape, or form, good. But to eliminate it just would be rough. So for people, this is about me, but like Cynthia just mentioned, and others have mentioned on little routes, the payments, but I appreciate this opportunity to always out some off a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendell. Our next speaker, Marisol Posnick, and Marielle. Apologies.
Good afternoon. My name is Marielle Hosman, and I also take Group 186 to Saginaw State every morning. I take the bus at 6:45 a.m. and I take the 5 p.m. bus at 8. And it's Jessica, who already stated, who rides the bus with me. She said that the same people would utilize the bus at peak times during the day. So I was thinking maybe we can at least keep the route at the peak times in the morning and the evening, since everyone will be calling a bus and it only seats 12. With the Move bus, there would be more than one bus driver in the zone. If everyone calls at the same time, I don't want to be late for work. I was told this feature is only efficient 85% of the time. And if the weather is not good in Syracuse, will this be even less efficient? I also need to get to work 100% of the time. And if the Move bus doesn't come, the Uber can cost anywhere from $20 to $60 one way. And I cannot pay for the Uber 15% of the time. Also, will the call bus accommodate those with disabilities? Because some of our riders will still require those accommodations. I just want to start work on time every day. I work in healthcare and I cannot be late for my patient visits, as they are all counting on me to be there on time. Thank you for taking the time to listen.
Thank you, Lynn. Our next speaker is Geraldine Vassal of Barrels.
But did you never want? Okay, I'm quite the country's worried in line. That for a month to come at the here. Okay. Okay, I take my 54 back in the morning to come to the home. And then I take a 186 to Peter Day. And they are so many of my state bus. And it's a bus of the movie going to Uncle everyone. because we take it in the afternoon, we take it in the morning and we take it in the afternoon. So what is going to happen to us? And what I know, in the evening, you have so many buses running it in the town area. Because you have the 3:45, you have the 4:40 bus, and you have 5 o'clock bus. So why is so much bus running in the early evening and we don't and we not going to have any bus to take us to work?
Thank you, Dorothy.
Our next speaker, and I apologize, I cannot read the last name. It's Kennel, first name Kennel, Kenneth?
Kenneth.
Panic. Another item. And Singapore.
Could you state that in the microphone?
Yes, my name's Kenneth Wilson, and I ride the second bus they ride to Inman. And I just want to know why they stopping the bus because we have to get back on to work. So I called to Nedlo to send the turnpike while I roll and I live right there in Bella Vista and right on Mobile. So I get on that bus early in the morning. So I wake up about 5. That is 5:54. Then, so I'm just saying that why are they trying to stop the bus? Things said. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson. Our next speaker is Faith Gray.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faith Gray. I got a clarifying question. I don't understand what you guys meant by this is direct transfer. It's like that. When it comes to purple zones, I didn't understand what you meant by the direct line. What does that mean? We want all of this before our coach. Like I can clarify that. So I can yell loud enough. Okay. So the idea behind the move zones is that the forward undercharge will be if I'm going from any point of the system to any other point of the system that's not the line of service. So these coal lines are those big buses that are out there that we know now, right? That's our fixed route line service. And so if I connect in at Town Center, it would be $1. If I connect in at Wegmans, it would be $1. Because then I can connect it to the rest of the system. But if I'm just going to my doctor in the park, if whatever else I'm doing out here at work, that would be a $4 charge. To clarify. So, that's the patient should visit that world. No, that would be $1 because this would be one of the connection points to connect you from the big bus service into the lesson. But some good, get it. It's the it's just since there's so many people and also on the very cleanse well and play well, so there's like people on that road. Is it possible that you guys can check and do civic crops within those areas to make it more convenient for people to live there or be working in that area if we have to connect from one to this road to another? Also, for ease of use when it comes to the app, is it possible to have it integrated into the Centro app because it makes it real complicated to hop between apps? Just something.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Beata Karmpidiska.
I think, wait, here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak tonight. So first of all, I'd like to start with the actual map that we have in here. It will be very helpful for people like myself that really don't recognize some of those routes, to put the names of the streets. So like which one is Genesee, which one is Route 57, will be very helpful because right now it's like a big maze. So it's very hard to comment on something like that doesn't really make any sense to me. And I'm sure that other people would also benefit from it. Maybe make the map a little bit bigger so people could, understand it a little bit better. Because I have no idea like what the little extensions and things like that, what those routes are. I have three more comments real quick. So my concern being in the university area and also having elderly mom who is using transit, just very concerned about how everything is going to connect with seniors, especially those who live in the suburbs, and people with disabilities. Is there going to be in any way reducing their services availability, connectivity? So those are the kind of bigger questions that I'm concerned about. I would like to see that this new system is going to improve what we are providing for seniors and people with disabilities, especially those who are more isolated and aging and they are no longer able to drive. Another issue that I'm also concerned about is the places, big employers like Syracuse University, Upstate, and St. Joseph's Hospital, with the redesign of 81 and all the work that's going to go on with this system. Does this also include, because I haven't heard anything about park and ride, are you working with employers, those big ones that frequent in cars every day, single people driving to the city, and there's going to be such a backlog on traffic in city streets, especially university area? Are you working with them so they would go to park and ride and use transit? So that would be very helpful if that was worked out. And last comment I have is I have to agree with speaker before me that was talking about at Tubbs, near Drumlins, we need a BetterBus stop there. And also with this whole new system, we cannot forget about shelters that are going to be hopefully posted in all those new routes, because the bus service is only as good as how comfortable the ride is. And big part of that is waiting and being sheltered from elements when you're waiting for the bus. Even if it's a short wait, you still want to make sure that you're not rained down, and other people who maybe are disabled, they might not be able to wait in rain. So I just wanted to make sure that we are going to have bus shelters that are going to be provided, and the existing bus that will also be improved. So like for instance, the one at Tubbs near Drumlins.
I'm going to have to cut you off, Bianna.
Sure.
3 minutes is
Yeah, don't put bus stops in ditches. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next, Phil, I think you put your name on here twice, though. So,
Okay.
our next speaker is Audrey Afros.
The conference.
Hi, my name is Audrey. I'm a student at Student ESF, and this past semester I've been running a survey on campus for ESF and Syracuse students, just trying to see what issues they have with the bus and areas for improvement. So I first off wanted to start by thanking you for really considering bus frequency in the changes to BetterBus, because that was the main complaint students had. But additionally, a lot of people responded saying they would hear bus stops that, again, protect from the elements, improved weekend service, and most specifically, a lot of people commented on access to grocery stores. A lot of students don't have cars on campus, and specifically, people mentioned bus route to Erie Boulevard, a more direct one from campus, would be really helpful to students because a lot of people need to shop there on weekends for groceries. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And it looks like our last speaker registered here is Julia Leibel McLean.
Hi, yes, good evening. So my name is Julie Bell McLean. I'm also a student this time at Syracuse University. I live in the university neighborhood. It's not quite tall enough. I ride primarily the 40, but I also take the 76, the 36, the 16, the 84, the 52, the 62. I'm not a regular rider in any Centro bus, but I ride them multiple times a week on a lot of different lines. And I have always thought that the fact that buses come every 80 minutes is a real challenge. So I applaud you guys for increasing frequency. And I think that I expressed this to a Centro employee tonight. My other concern, though, was about connecting to other transit in the city of Syracuse. So I regularly take the train at the Walsh Transportation Center, as well as charter buses that come through there. And if you get in at night, like there isn't a Centro bus that comes. If you want to take Centro to the bus station, you end up having to sit there for 40 to 50 minutes. And so it would be really great to think about syncing up Centro Transit to that other transit in the area. And the same is true for the airport. I regularly ride the 84 to the airport. But I've also been known to walk from my house at 4:40 in the morning down to the hub to catch a 5 a.m. bus out to Mattydale because I can't get to the hub that early in the morning. And oftentimes if you leave, there's a lot of flights that leave Syracuse at 6 a.m. You can't really get to the airport in time for that. And there's a lot of flights that land at 11:30 p.m. The latest bus, I think, to the airport is like at 6 p.m. So it's not very helpful for people who are coming in. And in particular, because those Ubers are like $50, it's really challenging if you're committed to taking public transit. So again, I ride Centro because I don't have a car, so it's important to my mobility. It's important for me in terms of affordability and also the environment. I really applaud the increases to frequency, but I think it's important to think about how it syncs up with other transit in the area.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much, Julia.
Cynthia, would you like to finish?
Thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to speak. Like to understand, it's for all Centro workers. I want Centro to fix the machine on the bus. Whenever we get to the bus in the morning and we swipe the card, not available, not working. Sometimes we swipe it 3 times, it's not working, not available, and the card is not expired. We desperately need this to fix so then the Centro could collect the funds. So if the machine is not fixed and 4 of us went in, we did not pay the $4, Centro is complaining because they are losing it. So please, Centro, I'm asking you with all my respect, can you get that machine to fix so we can swipe the card and say, you go, pay. Instead of we say, not available, not available. And every time they say not available, we cannot get it to work. So please, thank you once again.
That concludes all of our registered speakers sessions. Is there anyone else that did not register that wishes to speak at this time? Seeing none,
Just one quick comment, if I can.
can I ask you to come up and state your name?
Please again. My name is Frank Santalucia. I've lived in the city for about 5 years combined. What I've learned when I ride bus a lot of times, which probably doesn't have anything to do with the routes, but on the buses there are a lot of public disturbances, most of which the drivers don't address. It's been getting a lot better recently, but if there are going to be route changes, maybe something to consider that the drivers do stay on it and security does help them with anybody that might ride that, disturb on the wreckage. That's it.
Thank you, Said. Okay, anyone else? Last call. All right, seeing none, I'm going to hand the microphone back over to Brandeis to officially close our public hearing.
Thank you.
So I didn't give the time when I first started. I don't know what time it was. It was around 6. right? I should have officially said that we had opened the public hearing, and I goofed on that. Sorry about that. But I'm officially closing the public hearing, and it is, I don't know what time it is. It is 6:53 on Thursday, April 23rd. So, thank you so much. Again, all of our, let me get to that slide. All of our ways to contact us. We still have another week to get your comments in. Lots of options for you. And then we'll take it all back to the table, right? Where we then talk to our consultants and figure out if we can do anything to address some of these issues. So thank you. Again, we appreciate you coming out. I know it's later in the evening and we took a couple hours of your time. So thank you for coming out, for giving us your feedback. We need your feedback and we appreciate you.
Nice job. For those of you that did sign up for transportation home, I'm going to ask you to make your way out into the lobby by the round table in the back, and transportation will be provided to you from that location. Again, thank you for your participation. We appreciate all of your input and feedback. Have a wonderful and safe evening, everyone. Good night.